Do you remember this game? Yeah, it's been so long since I played this. Okay, let's see if I remember voices. And I'm sorry to get a phone call in the middle of this. I'm currently home alone, so, you know, someone might call me. We're in our little thought process, so let's just continue. That careless childhood age. It was also then that I met my first love. Her appearance and personality had vanished from my memory. Only her name remained like a brief line from a social network profile, along with the feelings which overwhelmed me when I was first with her. Affection, tenderness, the desire to care for her and to protect her. Sadly, it didn't last long. I would imagine so. Not to be mean, but just all of this together is just, so sad. By the way, I have played a part of this, so I'm basically rereading all of this because the last recording flipped out and didn't like me. So we're gonna retry this again. Today, I can hardly imagine something like that happening. I would probably like to meet a girl, but I don't know how to start a conversation. What on earth to discuss and how to attract her? Well, I have... You know what? Forget like the quote-unquote boy voice that just sounds like my normal voice. I'm just gonna talk like normal until he actually talks. Okay, sounds good? Yep, going with it. I would probably like to meet a girl, but I don't know how to start a conversation. What on earth to discuss and how to attract her? Well, I haven't met any suitable girls for a long time, but where could I meet one anyway? Ah. The sound of an engine brought me back to reality. A bus pulled over. There was something abnormal about it, I thought. Then again, it doesn't matter. Only the 410 runs this route. 410? Ah. Looks like we have white hair. What? Hey, the headlights are on fire. Yeah. Streetlights pass me by. It's as if their cold light sparks inside of me, trying to ignite the feelings long dead. Or maybe not ignite, just awaken them. But those feelings, they have been living in me for a long time, slumbering and waking up again. The driver's radio is playing some very familiar tune, but I wasn't listening to it. Then how did you know he was playing a familiar tune? I was watching the cars pass through the fogged window, because people are always rushing somewhere, chasing something they need, stuck in their own little worlds. Why would they care about mine? They probably have their own serious problems, or maybe they have much easier lives. Everyone kinda just focuses on themselves. Not to be like harsh and mean and stuff, but like, in the way the world works, you have to look out for yourself and your family. So they're not paying attention to strangers they don't even know. Now, if you guys were friends, that's a different thing. You can't know for sure since all people are different, or are they? Sometimes someone's actions can easily be predicted, but if you try to look inside his soul, you will always see the impenetrable darkness. Dots. The bus was approaching downtown. My thoughts were interrupted by the bright city lights. Hundreds of billboards, thousands of cars, millions of people. I watched this light show and somehow I got terribly sleepy. My eyes just closed for a moment and then... Oh? Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to click. Day 1. I think your computer's broken. Oh, the music. Oh my god. Bright light struck my eyes. At first I didn't pay attention, as I fully wasn't awake yet. On their own, my legs carried me towards the door. Damn. Looks like I fell asleep and missed my stop. But there was no door. I looked around the bus and realized that it wasn't good. It was a I looked around the bus and realized that it wasn't a good worn-out LIAZ. Instead, the bus was an Icarus model, a new one. I froze in shock. How? What? Am I dead? Have I been kidnapped? No, I must be dead. I patted myself down feverishly, slapped myself painfully in the face a few times, banging my forehead in the back of one of those bus seats. Those aren't good bus seats to bang your head on. This will hurt. It's clear. Either I'm still alive, or you can still feel pain when you're dead. But how could this happen? Maybe I slept for too long and ended up at the bus spot. And then what? What did they put me onto another bus? I rushed out and took a look around. Greenery wherever I looked. Tall grass on the roadside, trees, flowers. Summer? But how? It was just winter a moment ago. My head was aching unbearably, as if it was going to explode. Slowly, I began to remember. Oh. There's winter, and then summer's just over here chilling. A long road running off into the distance. Forests, plants, fields, lakes, and forests again. I was thinking I was sleeping, but then how can I remember all of it? And then, a gap. Some girl leaning over me. She softly whispered something into my ear. Then a gap again. And then I woke up here. Who was that strange girl? Or was she just a dream? For some reason, thinking about her made me feel better and calm me down a little. I felt warmth all over, coming from the inside. Oh, alright. Could it be her who brought me here? Then I need to find her. And the best place to look for her is away from here. She took you here. She would be here. I rushed to the left, then to the right, then stopped, hesitating over where to go. Oh, finally, I ran in the direction from which the bus had probably came. Dots. I was talking in his voice when I shouldn't have been. Ooh, pretty. Dots. Physical exercise does refresh one's mind. Thoughts became more clear, and it gets a little easier to evaluate the surroundings of reality. Not in my case, however. I was sitting on the roadside, wheezing and trying to ease my sore throat by gulping breaths of hot air. In any case, the run did its job. The fear withdrew for a while. Maybe I really am just dreaming? Thoughts recalling myself harm on the bus, I immediately rejected the idea. I am neither dreaming nor dead. Wait, I am neither dreaming nor dead. Here we go. A narrow road ran through the field and far into the distance. That exact road from my dream. It must be very far away from home. And it's just that it was winter yesterday and it's summer now. I mean, how does that happen? It's the whole environment. Of course, summer is usually like this, green and hot, but here everything is not entirely lifelike. Everything looks like it was taken from a painter or Russian landscape artist of the 19th century. The grass is just too lush, the bushes are not like what bushes should be. They are so thick that you can't see anything through them, like treetops, honestly. Sorry about that. Everything looked like it was taken from the painting of a Russian landscape artist in the 19th century. The grass is just too lush, the grass is just too lush, the bushes are not like what bushes should be. They're so thick that you can't see anything through them, like tree tops, honestly. And the trees themselves. The forest was quite far away, but the trees looked as if they closed their ranks and was now just waiting for the order to advance to the field and plains. I caught my breath and looked at the bus, which was now barely visible. That was a good run. You. Fear overtook me once again. Those power lines. There must be people here. But what does it mean? In fact, that means nothing at all. Couldn't they have power lines even in hell? Roasting sinners over hot coals? That's still last century. I must have reached the point of no return, after which you should either lose your mind completely or finally try to understand what's going on. And while I still have no choice, I should pick the second option. I slowly headed back to the bus. Of course it was scary. But I'm not likely to find an answer in the fields or woods, and this wretched bucket of bolts is the only kind of thing I have in the real world. Dots. I should carefully scout the area. A brick wall and its gates crowned me with Sovyonok A brick wall and its gates crowned with the Sovyonok sign statues of pioneers on either side, and a road sign nearby showing the bus route number 410. The trip's taking a bit too long today. I smirked. A person may start acting inappropriately in extreme situations. Something like that is probably happening to me now. This place didn't look abandoned at all. No rust in the gates and no damage to the walls. Sovyonok? What could have a name like that? Judging by the pioneer statues, it could be a kids' summer camp. Moreover, it happens to be open. Of course, the simplest explanation, logically speaking, explains nothing at all. The strange girl, the altered bus, summer, the pioneer camp. Thousands of theories went through my mind instantly, from alien abduction to lethargic sleep, from a hallucination to a time and space shift. None was worse than the other, but there was really no way to pick a single one. Then it occurred to me. I can try to make a phone call. I took out my cell phone and dialed the first number from my contact list. But instead of signal strength bars, the screen was showing a thick cross. Alright, there may be no signal in such a remote place. Though, I cannot be the only one who came here. Buses don't drive themselves. I examined the bus from all sides to make sure it wasn't an hallucination. Bits of dirt on the bottom, some rust here and there, faded paint and worn out tires. No, this is definitely a very ordinary occurrence. Yeah, exactly the kind of bus which takes you to places beyond your understanding if you carelessly fall asleep. I gave a nervous chuckle. It came up by itself sporadically, because this wasn't the right place or time to laugh. But where on earth is the driver? I cautiously sat down on the curb beside the bus and started to wait. Dots. My patience didn't last long. My anxiety seemed to reach its peak and I started to go slightly mad. In this situation, anyone would have probably felt something similar. Aliens in parallel universes were gone from my imagination, leaving only void and darkness. Whoa. Is this how everything will end? How my life will end? But I wanted to do so much. There were so many things I had no time for. I was overwhelmed by the idea. This is definitely the end. But why? It's not fair. Surely I'm no worse than anyone else. God, why? Tears were burning in my eyes unbearably. I curled up and started rolling in the grass. I can just imagine, what is he? He's out of college, so 30, 20s, 30. crying, rolling in the grass, just going, like just doing that. Why? What did I do? Why me? But my cries were only heard by the speechless statues of the pioneers and the bird on the tree, which immediately flapped its wings and took off, crying out something in its own bird language, as if laughing at the idiot who dared to interrupt its after-dinner nap. I was left breathless from weeping and just laid quiet, sobbing occasionally. After a while, I managed to put myself together, my mind clearing up a bit as a terror and the fear of death gave me a little break. All in all, if someone wanted to kill me, what is this for? It doesn't look like an experiment either. If this is just some crazy coincidence, and there's probably no threat. Anyway, for now, there seems to be no danger. The panic was soon gone. Of course, the blood was still pounding my temples and my hands were shaking, but at least I could think clearly now. Right, now there's nothing I can really change anyway. Soon, no matter how much I think or how mad I get, it would only make things worse. Until some actual facts appear, there is really no point in making guesses. In any case, I won't learn anything by lounging about here. This camp, if of course it's really a camp, looked like the only place where people could be, so I decided to go there, and hardly had I reached the gates when a girl came out from behind them. Ah, so beautiful. Her hair's super long, like Rapunzel, wearing a pioneer uniform. My logic didn't let me down this time. I'd hope not. Then again, a pioneer uniform in the 21st century? And then again, a girl. Here. Like, right here, in front of my face. I froze, unable to take a step. I felt very much like running away. Running as far away as I could from this place, far from this bus, gates, statues, and far from this bloody bird. Just running, free like the wind, faster and faster, waving to the planets passing by, leaping in the galaxies. Running, becoming a pulsar ray, and turning into the digital radiation, running to the face of the unknown. You need to stop talking like this. Oh, she got closer. Meanwhile, the girl came closer and smiled. I could not help but notice her beauty, even though I was trembling with fear. Human instincts work independent of consciousness, and while we're only 5% of the brain's responsibility for cognitive processes, the remaining 95% are always busy sustaining life, and in particular, ensuring stable functioning of the hormonal system. You need to back up. I desperately wanted to get less complicated and start thinking informal quotes from an encyclopedia. Then my thoughts appeared to be one by one being stupid out of the place, as if taken from an internal monologue of the hero of some junk softcover crime fiction book. A pretty Sovyonok face, long braids that looked like 2 armfuls of fresh hay, and blue eyes that you could drown in. Hi, you must have just arrived. I feel like he would not reply, but I want to reply. Yeah. All right then, welcome. She smiled broadly. Strange, it looks as if she's just a normal girl in front of me. That's because she is. Ugh, I should have never returned here. The woods and fields seem better. Really? I would just hang out with her. Then you know you're safe. But what shall I do next? Try to speak with her as if she was a human or run away or what? The blood was pumping unbearably in my head, tearing it apart from the inside. A little bit more and the poor pioneer girl would be splattered with gruesome contents of my skull. What is wrong with you? Oh God, did she hear us? Can she read our minds? What's so funny about that? The girl looked over at me. It sent shivers down my spine and my knees started to tremble. Nothing.
Great then.
Great? What's so great about that? Suddenly, a thought crossed my mind. To hell with it all. Forget the buffaloes behind me, the fact that it was winter yesterday and summer today. I wanted to rip off my itchy sweater and just accept that this is all actually happening. Accept is as it should be. All this is for the best. Would you happen to know?
You should go to our camp leader. She'll tell you everything. Look, you go straight ahead to the square, then turn left. See several small cabins.
She pointed out the gates as if I knew what was behind them. Well, you can ask someone where Olga Dimitrievna's cabin is. Dimitrieva is a partonymic. That is way too big of words.
Got it?
Of course I didn't.
Well, I gotta go now.
The girl waved her hand at me and disappeared through the gates. It seemed as if to her I was something ordinary. And all show was from the bus and the travels, while awake or asleep was traveling only to me, while everything here is just the way it was supposed to be. Camp leader, pioneer uniform. What are they doing at a historical reenactment here? I hope I won't find Lenin standing on top of an armored chair in a square. But even that would not surprise me right now. After standing alone for a while, I decided to head into the camp.